of the great rabbis of yesteryear. We happen to be on the second day of the month of Kislev, the Hebrew month of Kislev, marks the Hilula of a really great rabbi from Marrakesh in Morocco. His name was Rabbi Makhlouf Eldaoudi Z'tl. He was actually born in English year 1825. He passed away, he was about 85 years of age, in English year 1910. He will become a great rabbi, a shluchei d'Rabbanan, traveling all over the world pretty much. He came from Morocco originally. He would become, let's just say, the Chacham Bashi, the chief rabbi of the area of Akko, very prestigious position in of itself, and very much had prominent roles within regards to various different roles for the Jewish community in Israel at the time, and many connections with many different governments. And let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in Marrakesh, in Morocco. And over there, I believe his family, especially from his dad's side, happened to be from the famous Eldaoudi family in of itself. I think they actually originated from Rav Chia Eldaoudi, who happened to be a very great rabbi of yesteryear. I think even from the 12th century, if I'm not mistaken. Rav Chia actually would descend from, let's just say, in of itself, Rav Chia, just to say, I think he was a prominent rabbi. He was a composer, he was a poet, a Torah poet in itself, and I think many of his hymns, his different songs, are used by Sephardic congregations all over the world. So very, very interesting, comes from very, very great rabbinic heritage, and the family in of itself were very, very great. Okay, so he came reported over from the famous 12th century rabbi, I believe, and I think Rabbi Abraham Schut actually was also, I think, a descendant, if I'm not mistaken. He actually relates over, if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Schut, that he was a descendant of the house of David, very, very prominent and a chashuv position. This is in of itself, so it's very interesting. Pointed out. I think actually, just to make a correction, Rabbi Aram Zarot, he actually wrote the Sefer of Genealogy, very famously. He actually himself was not related, I believe, to Rabbi Eldaoudi per se, but he was able to distinguish about, let's just say, the family tree and the heritage of the great family, Eldaoudi family in himself. Now, his mother, I believe, was Rabbanit Rina, and she was born in Lodz in Poland. And she actually came, I believe, from a family that arrived in Morocco at one stage in time because of trade, like business issues in of itself. So very interesting how a woman from Poland originally would get married to a Moroccan man. This is especially in late 1800s, which I don't think was that as common as now, that's for sure. After he was several years after he was born, the family would actually move to the land of Israel, to Eretz Israel, I think along with 5 other families, and they would arrive in the land of Israel and arrive in the port of Yaffo in of itself, and they would eventually come to settle in Tzfat being one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, along with Tiberias, Jerusalem, and Hebron. And over there, he would actually learn under auspices of great rabbis from the city in of itself. And I believe he actually, at a young age, received rabbinic ordination. I think it was and at the age of 18 years old, he would get married to his wife, Rabbanit Rachel. She happened to be the daughter of the famous Rabbi Mordechai Abu, very, very great rabbi, I believe, at that point in time in the specific area. And in the year 1845, he was chosen to become appointed from the rabbis of Tzfat to actually represent the city and become shluchei d'Rabbanan, like travel all over the world to raise funds and strengthen various different kehilot, give it the talents which he's got from Tzfat, the rabbinic talents in himself, and let's just say really inspire many of the different communities over the world, and also raise funds at the same time. I believe he traveled to Iran, to Afghanistan, to Uzbekistan, to India, Hodu, respectively. I think to the Arzot Balkan, even, very interesting enough, which is a very place. also Bulgaria, Romania, and Egypt. So a real galaxy of 7 various totally different countries, you could say, in of itself. And it would travel around different areas, I think even of North Africa in of itself, and really, really did make a power and a change within many of these communities, while at the same time raise important funds for the Tzfat and the communities in of itself and the various different countries. I believe he learned many of the languages of the various countries that he would travel to. He knew Hebrew, but also managed to learn languages like Farsi, Persian, Turkish, and Arabic, which really, really very much helped him in his time inside the place in of itself. I think he really, really did work on behalf of the Jewish communities in the land of Israel. And at that point in time, the Ottoman government, there was many agitations they did against the Jewish community, especially anti-Semitic related, as we will point out in the next few minutes. It's actually interesting. He would become the Chacham Bashi of the chief rabbi, you could say, of the Acre district. I think it was a recommendation that was approved by the Ottoman Sultan over there. And he had various different prestigious roles, especially protecting the rights of Jews when they were violated, let's just say, himself. And he led the Jewish community and the local courts in of itself. He had a close relationship with another great rabbi, I think, who was a Rishon LeZion, Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Elisher, who we've mentioned about on various different occasions before. He himself was the chief rabbi of the Rishon LeZion between the years 1893 to 1906, and the head of the Jewish court over there, respectively. And now he also published various different great books, Rabbi Makhlouf did in of itself, which is very interesting. Many of the great rabbis published great books, and including, I think the book was called the Yisa Ish, if I'm not mistaken, which was various different shuvot answers, I think together of Rabbi Eldaoudi, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was really a prominent book in of itself. So he had also very much lots of connections within God's area of Haifa being another prominent city in Israel. And I think this book, Yisha Ish, I think at the time period there was a strong growth of Jewish settlement in Haifa, and he was appointed, I think, at that point in time by the Rishon LeZion to become the chief rabbi of Haifa as well. So it wasn't just the chief rabbi of Accra, he would become the chief rabbi of Haifa also. This was under instruction of that Rishon LeZion. I believe he composed 4 volumes of great Torah material within regards to the various sermons he did and halakhic rulings. I think it might remain in manuscript, but I'm not too sure if it was actually published in of itself. He had a very Jewish nationalistic outlook. He helped with many, many different great charitable organizations that helped various Sephardic communities and Ashkenazic communities. And I believe he also had translations in regards to different novels and different great works, which has to be pointed out also. So he was very, very well traveled. I believe when he was, just to add on to something that we said before, we mentioned that how he took on various different trips all over the world. We know that in 1889, at that point in time, he would have been about 54 years of age. He was designated by the chief rabbi, we said before, with the permission of the Ottoman Sultan. The Ottoman Sultan at that point in time was Abdul Hamid. And while he was a chief rabbi, he tried to recover Jews who wished to convert to other religions. He would try and make sure that it would not convert to other religions and keep their Jewish identity. I believe his son, Selim, narrated in his memoirs all the other, let's say, unknown episodes in which his father took part of. Unfortunately, he passed away in Tzfat. I believe it was about 84 years of age at the time passing. One place said he passed away in the year 1909. Another place said he passed away in the year 1910 in Tzfat. And I believe he was buried in the old Jewish cemetery in Tzfat, respectively. He must have been close to 85 years of age at the time of passing. He was a very great rabbi, very well traveled. I don't think there were many shluchei d'Rabbanans that traveled around Europe, North Africa, and Asian countries in of itself. His name was Rabbi Makhlouf Eldaoudi Z'tl Libracha. Please make it to light candles in the great rabbi's memory. And friends, we are a community over here. We are learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear, because there was really a lot of great rabbis. You can see here, 2nd of Kislev marks Rabbi Makhlouf Eldaoudi another great Moroccan rabbi. We've covered already nearly about 100 Moroccan rabbis in this series. We've covered more than 500 great rabbis in this series. Please like the videos, share the videos. If you happen to be related to any of these great Chachamim that we are covering these videos on, please send me an email. Let me know more information about the great Rabbanim of yesteryear. I love to hear more about them and share with everyone else the greatness of those great rabbis. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we're just going to see blessings, not just in Israel, but all over the world for all of humanity. So wishing you well and a Shavuot Mevorach.